Guy, anyone ever referred to you as Deep effing Adami?
Deep, DEEP? No, that has not come across my radar screen now.
Deep effing Adami, or if given the choice, would you rather be Deep effing Adami or Roaring Kitty? Roaring Kitty. Roaring's a tough word to say, by the way.
I think the former. Deep
that's
effing
just
me. Yeah.
Adami. Yeah.
Why do you ask? I'm curious.
Well, this dude, this is the Reddit dude who wears the red headband, who stirred up the frenzy, who started buying GameStop and is considered legend on Wall Street bets. But he goes by either Deep effing Value,
right,
or in his YouTube channel he's Roaring Kitty, which
now is that self-proclaimed? Did he knight himself or herself those names, or is that something that was sort of given to him by the followers?
No, that's a good question, because it's kind of like, the guys in my car club used to call me the Cruiser, and should have called me the Dork. But
that's right.
I don't know. It's all this Reddit stuff is we're learning a little bit more. Markets are calming down, it's really incredible where markets have come in the last couple of weeks. So those nicknames are certainly, they're out there. They're
apropos. Well, it's fitting that as the market calms down, it's a day when the great Hal Holbrook passed away. I think it was 95 years old. Now, I know Hal Holbrook in many, many movies, but I think, just my opinion, his greatest role, that of Lou Mannheim in the great movie Wall Street.
He was, and he was Deep Throat. Speaking of deep, but look, Lou Mannheim. Everybody had a Lou Mannheim on their trading floor. Everybody, and Lou is a good guy. I'm speaking of him in the present tense because the concept of Lou Mannheim. Lou is a good man. He's seen a lot. He's a guy you listen to, and he's a guy that ultimately proves prophetic and very sage. He had a couple of the best lines in movie history.
Well, I think, it's funny because I think that one line is so apropos in terms of what you mentioned with the GameStop Reddit crowd. But when he turns to Bud Fox and says, "You're on a roll, kid. Enjoy it while it lasts, because it never does." And here you go. I mean, they were on a roll, and it doesn't last.
It doesn't last, and we talked about fundamentals ultimately win the day, but look, if you're somebody, it's either that line, or whether you're Melvin Capital, or whether you were a buyer of momentum into 360 or 425 on GameStop, and it's now down, getting into single digits again, not again, but it seems to be on its path, is when Lou said to Bud, just as he was about to get handcuffed, it's times like now a man looks into the abyss and sees nothing, and that's the true test of a man's character, or something like that. I just butchered that line.
No, you did okay. It's just fine. I mean, there were so many great lines in that movie by so many different people. I mean, there are 5 or 6 different people that just spew out great things.
Yeah, I mean, McGinley, who is a big fan of Commercial Break, by the way, when we ran our Wall Street spoof trailer, whenever that was on the anniversary of Wall Street that we had some fun with, he was chiming in on Twitter. So anyway, I mean, some great lines, and ultimately, is the market back to great? Because here we are with the VIX diving and seemingly some reparation in the world. Explain to me what you think is now going on, because I think there's a lot of people that are confused.
In terms of the broader market? Listen, I think that move in GameStop, and all the other ancillary stocks scared a lot of people. I think they had a pared down risk. I think that's why you saw the move in volatility, and it lasted basically for a day and a half, 2 days. And now we're right back to normal, because I think people are focused on, probably correctly, the fact that there's going to be this stimulus deal. The Fed still is out there lurking. And oh, by the way, earnings have been decent. So you couple all those 3 things together, people will say the GameStop thing is just sort of a footnote in history. I don't believe that, by the way, but I think that's what's going on.
Well, and you say lurking. I think a byproduct of this that is lurking though is this this representation of the retail investor as being almost transcendent to the aggrieved in this country for a lot of different reasons. And I think that part of this wake-up call is what stays with us, because while ultimately there is, to me, no fight in a company that is secularly misplaced and out of their sweet spot and made missteps and is tactically not on the leading edge of technology, and that fundamentals will work itself out. But I think what we did get a chance to see is that there's some anger towards Wall Street, and some of that's justified, and that there's a lot to be said about playing by the rules. And maybe Bud Fox wasn't doing that, and is a tragic hero as he sits in the middle of Sheep's Meadow. I mean, a very stunning scene.
A very cleaned up Sheep's Meadow. There was not a piece of garbage on that lawn, if you recall. It was well manicured. And then you have to wonder, who's the Martin Sheen in all this at the end of the movie that, is in the car with Bud Fox and says, maybe this had to happen. Maybe you need to do some time in the pokey, as they say, to sort of come back. Tough love from his real dad, as it turns out.
Yeah. And why do you think the market wrecked Melvin Capital, Guy?
Because it was wreckable, Tim.
It was
wreckable.
Because
it was wreckable.
It was wreckable.
And that's exactly right. And I think, to your point, it wasn't the Bud Foxes out there wrecking Anacott Steel or Blue Star Jets. It was somebody else. It was the ultimate puppet master. And I think we don't know who the person pulling those strings is or was, but we're going to find out.
And on the way out, Master of Puppets, Metallica album, incredible. A lot of people think their best work, and before they sold out into the Black Album. Guy, I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.